Mhm. 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 Hi, everyone. Happy Thursday. These weeks fly by. I don't know how you feel about that. I am ready for January to be over. Anyone else? It has been a rough one. But okay. Hello, my name is Heather Keller. We are here every single Thursday for these weekly power hours. I love to train. I love to spread my knowledge. I've been handling these wacky transactions since 2007. I love them. Okay. So if you are not um, a part of my free group on Facebook, I'm going to go ahead and post that right now if you would like to join. Basically, the free group holds all of our past trainings. So here's the link. That holds all of our past trainings. We've been going live every single week since August of 2023. Okay. And so there's a lot of past trainings in there, okay? And so we do put all of them in there and we post about the replays if you missed. So like I said, we're here every single Thursday. And I'm going to do a little bit different at the end of this session. I'm going to give you a kind of a heads up or a sneak peek of what next week's session is going to be. I like to make these Zoom calls conversational. So if you have questions, please ask. I'm pretty sure I would be able to answer them. Okay. It's just important for me to spread as much knowledge as I can and really help you guys either grow in this niche or get started in the niche and then grow. All right, so today's weekly power hour. Let's see here. I don't know why myself keeps trying to log in. It's the strangest thing. Have you guys ever had that before? No idea why that is. So weird. Okay. This week's weekly power hour is easy as 1, 2, 3. So basically, a kindergartner could follow this, okay? I've had so many people tell me that my videos and the explanations are so easy, and it is. So I'm going to give you my path, my exact path that gets me listings every month. So just to give you a little bit of my background, if you don't know who I am, I do specialize in this. I've been marketing only to distressed home sellers since 2007. So that includes this. I've been essentially doing the same thing every single year for all of those years, and it has led to listings. I rarely take on buyers unless it has come from a past client that was a short sale or a distress sale. Okay, so I want that for you. So I would love to learn where you are located, your state, as well as some counties. The reason why is because I'm going to pull some data live. And so if you're interested in learning your data, I would love to know your state and, give me a couple of counties that you would work. All right. Let's move on. Okay, so these are going to be step by step. I want you to take notes. I'll give you my email at the end if you prefer to have the slides. I'd be happy to give those out to you. But I'm going to give you 3 steps. Oh, hey, Hillary. Okay, awesome. So we'll look at that in just a second.
Well, I'll send it to you.
So these are my exact steps, okay? So if there's something you're not understanding, just let me know, okay? But I'm going to take you through my top 2 lead sources and then what your step 3 should be, okay? If this is what you're looking to get into, let's dive in together. Let me show you, let me hold your hand and help you. Our community is not like anything else out there, okay? So again, any questions, go ahead and ask. All right, so
I have
step
a
1.
question.
Oh, yep, do you have a question?
What's the price point? I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and obviously every place has their own price point. What is the price point do you handle when you have distressed sellers or distressed buyers? And how long did it take you to add the volume to your business year after year? Like when I know it takes some time, you have to continue doing the same stuff. I just want to understand how long did it take you to get that niche and knowing, okay, this is it for me.
So look, I'm not telling you guys to stop any of your current business.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but distress sales has been so rewarding to me over the years for so many reasons. The top reason is it's very work-life balance. And so essentially, I'm just working when my kids are at school. I don't take evening appointments. If it's a weekend, it's the first thing Saturday morning. And so I think when we're in real estate for ourselves, we work nonstop. And that's
Yeah.
really not the life that I wanted. And so if that's the life you want, that's fine. Maybe this isn't the place for you. But the other thing is I have made 6 figures for all of these years. Okay. And I'm going to show you my income in a little bit. I don't love to talk about the money, but everyone wants to know, Heather, are you actually making money in distressed sales? Yes, I technically don't have to work because my husband has a successful business here, but I love it. I love to help people. I have some people that will implement the direct mail marketing campaign and start to get calls right away. Otherwise, it may take a couple months. For me, I probably get a call a week. I'm not able to help everyone, but my direct mail has always been my number 2 lead source for all of these years. So what I tell people is it's going to vary. I've done $50,000 short sales and I've done one up to like 1.6 million. So they're all over the board. I don't say no because you never know what type of business it could lead down the road. And so what I do tell people is if you are consistent, and you'll hear me say that word a lot, you will have success. but you can't come on and just send a letter, you know, one time or once a month or go to one networking event. You know, follow this step-by-step plan and you will have success. You know what I mean? So that's a really great question. Okay, let's get going. But again, if you have questions, you can just either raise your hand or post it in the chat, or feel free to unmute yourself. I don't think it's rude that you know, interrupt me. Okay. All right. So the first step is leads. Okay. So a lot of people, and I did a poll in the group earlier this week, and, you know, a lot of people do want to take on this niche, but they're nervous about it. You know, first off, there's a lot of gurus out there trying to just sell you stuff, right? Well, this is not really that. I don't consider myself that. I really just want to help homeowners across the United States. And if I can help them, it starts with you. So leads, where the heck do we get the leads? How do we organize it and all that? Okay. I've spent a lot of years trying to figure out leads. Okay. So you don't have to be like me. You don't have to spend years of time and wasting money on different places. I'm telling you, Property Radar is the best. Okay. Why? Well, it is simple for one. We like simple, okay? We do not need to overcomplicate things. Their customer support is great. They have someone dedicated to our community. So I'm going to show you how to get those leads, okay? So someone commented. So the first part is leads. Okay, so let me just write this down. We have Jefferson County, and is it just Bexar County? If anyone else wants
It's
to know,
actually pronounced bear, even though it does not look like that. So
I knew that. I knew that. Daytona Beach. Okay, is that a county? Jess, do you want to give a county? I don't know what county that's in. Okay. All right, so let's just start with these three, and then I will come back and I can take look up some more. So look, I get this question a lot. You know, how do I market? So this step is going to show you right here, auction date leads only. That has been my #2 lead source, not pre-foreclosure. Now you could still market to pre-foreclosure if you wanted, but it's more of like a drip plan. Okay, these families know they got time. So we want to market specifically to auction dates, okay? And if that scares you, or if you're like, I have no clue how to go about it, hold that thought. And step #3 is going to show you how to really be able to ask questions and learn from all of us, okay? So let's take a look. Here's Property Radar. And I will post a link. Let me post the link to if you want to get a free trial with them, you could start here if you wanted. Okay. All right. So let's take a look. We have Bear, even though it does not look like that, Bear County. So when you get into Property Radar, you want to set up a list, okay? And we want to analyze that list every single week. So the first step here is to set up your auction date lead list, okay? I do recommend working in more than one county, or you could start with one county and then gradually work up, okay? You don't necessarily have to be an expert in all of these areas. You have to be an expert on how the bank processes the short sale, okay? And if that scares you, I've dealt with every single bank. So you just got to come and ask, right? All right, so here is Bear. So you put the county in. We like to go off of counties. Now, if you prefer to do cities or zip codes, you could, but inside of our county, I'm sorry, in our community, we do counties. So if you go to foreclosure, you go to foreclosure stage, we do not want anything but auction, okay? Oh, whoa. Okay, I choked a little bit there. This is a very, very big number. That's like 3 times where I'm at right now. So they're currently, and I don't know who said Bear County, I apologize. There are 1,130 families that have an auction date on their property. Now, are we going to market to all of those? No. There is specific criteria that once you set up this list, you are going to download those initial leads, but then you have to go through them, okay? So it's not going to be all of them, all right? But you want to make this list. So let me see who said Hillary. Okay, so Hillary, we would make Hillary's list. Okay, create. You do want to
Now,
make
can you find this information like on the county tax, or not even tax, but just on the county website? Because I've looked into doing foreclosures and I've found a map list like this on there. It's just them like tracking down their phone number and their address.
Yeah, so I don't know. Every single county, Hillary, is a little bit different. You know, so Property Radar is $119 a month, but it is money very well spent, and you do have to spend money to make money. And this is something I'm encouraging everyone to do, because in step one, it's going through auctions. And then we also use Property Radar for my other lead source as well. So I don't know how your county is. If you can get specifics, really what you need is the address, the homeowner's name, and when the auction is. That's very important. If it doesn't have the auction info, then this is not going to work, okay? Because we do analyze this data on a weekly basis, and we want to make sure we're sending it out to people with an auction date, a certain time frame out, all of that, okay? So I would look into this data because it does give you a lot. Now, I'm not a big cold caller. I'm not a big texter. My plans, or what I teach, we do have optional text campaigns that, of course, you have to follow the rules of everything, but you shouldn't have to do any of that with this, okay? So does Property Radar give emails and phones? Yeah, they do. But let's just take a look at one of these. So here's one. Now, it is possible that some of these families may have equity, okay? So here's 1421 Howard Street. So if we go to, so like, look, here's the thing. This auction, Hillary, was scheduled for December 16th. So this probably got rescheduled for whatever reason. So that's why when I say there's 1,200 families in your county that have an auction, some of those auctions have been postponed. So what could have happened here? Well, they may be working on a loan mod. It doesn't look like they're in bankruptcy, but there could be a few different reasons. And so a lot of times I sometimes will send letters out to them still. But families that have an auction date, we try to market to them because there's still strategies out there that they could get that date postponed. So remember, auction dates have been my number 2 lead source all of these years, because a lot of families think that they can no longer do anything. And a lot of agents don't really know how to navigate this part of the foreclosure process. So that's a number for yours. Let's take a look at someone else. So we have Jefferson County. I think it's Alabama. Was it Alabama? Okay. I don't know why. It's so weird. Okay, let's just see what the numbers are so you guys have an idea of, what's going on in your area. So 340. So this is about what I have in my area. And we send out probably 150 letters a week. It's not a lot, but again, we are consistent, okay? So this is actually this is a pretty good number. And again, you could add more than one county. So right now there's 340 families in Jefferson County, Alabama that have auctions. Let's look at,
Can you, okay, once you're done with this, can you check Fulton and Forsyth too?
yes, I will get to everyone that wants to know. 113. So this is actually a pretty low number for most of Florida. Florida is a lot like here in Illinois where I'm at, and the numbers are pretty high. So you could add, I know that there's other counties right around here that actually have a lot. I forgot which county's right next to this one. Who's in this? Who said Jess? Okay. Oh, Jess said, Jess, do you have another one that's right next to it that you would work at? Maybe she's not on anymore. Oh, Flagger. Okay. So it adds a little bit. So still, I mean, there's probably not a lot of people, like I said, marketing to families with an auction, or if they are, they're probably investors who honestly are trying to take advantage of these families. And so we'll talk about marketing and stuff in a little bit.
Can I ask a question, please?
Sure.
So, I see you are talking about consistency of mailing 150 letters or whatever X number of letters every week to be on their face, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you hear back from them? Like, how often do you hear back from them? That's my first question. And second is, like, once they choose to work with you, how do you promote their listing? Do you promote through regular MLS or is there another platform to do it?
Okay, so we send around 150. Do I keep track? Like time is our most valuable asset, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I don't keep track of like how many calls I get, but what my team does look at is we send out what is a flow chart every week with one of our marketing pieces, and we'll get to
Okay.
marketing, okay? And that flow chart is really helping educate the families of their options. No one in the country besides Blueprint is sending this flow chart, okay? Because everyone, it's always about the money. Hey, I'm an investor, let me purchase the house. No, our mission is to educate. So I don't know how many calls I get per week, but what I do keep track of is every single month I analyze when or my deals that closed and where they came from. And at the end of the year, it has always been my number 2 lead source. So, you know, I think last year it was like a couple deals a month just from this one. So it is there, but you got to be consistent. So if you send
Yeah.
them out for a month and then you don't get any calls, that is okay. They're getting it. These families will continue to get that flow chart in either a postcard or a letter every single week until there's nothing else you can do. Maybe their house went to foreclosure, or maybe for whatever reason, the auction stopped. So they are getting your info.
And when you list these homes, do you just put it on regular your
I
MLS?
don't do a lot when I list, to be honest. I list the property, it goes on the MLS because it is required for the bank, and I just wait. And then every 3 weeks we analyze the price, and if we have to drop it, we'll drop it at that time.
And then any offers you get, so you just have to talk to the bank instead of the homeowner.
No, the homeowner is required to sign the offer,
Mm-hmm.
and then you submit it to the bank. So and I don't get into that in today's training, but inside of our community, there's plenty of information of like, okay, we got an offer. Well, what are the types of questions you should ask this agent before you encourage your seller to sign it? So, yeah, I could sit here and talk all day about that, but that would be for like another training.
Okay.
Okay, so there's the
Thank you.
number, no problem, for Montgomery County. Okay, and then some Fulton. So far everyone has a good amount. Fulton County. Oh wow. Okay, so Fulton's big. Okay, so 660.
That
So
is
again,
for Fulton and
yeah.
Forsyth. Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
was the
big
one.
numbers.
Oh,
What?
sorry. Can I ask you one thing in between?
Sure.
I was the one who asked for this, so then we can make our own radius and figure out where we want to prospect.
Yeah, you could. I mean, I try to keep things super simple, right? Simple is really key. And so I would absolutely do a county. Um, if you can. It just, in all of my years, it's easier to just pull the data and keep it that way. You could remove some of those as you're analyzing these on a weekly basis if you wanted to.
Okay, thank you.
So Sarah, yeah, so those households, so basically what, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I think it's Aman.
Yeah.
Okay. So Aman would set up her list. So her initial leads are 660. And so we would teach you how to pull those initial leads, download them, analyze them. And then we have a Google spreadsheet to keep track of all of it. And then let me go here and just make her list. So once we created her list, then every single week, so this is really important. If you're marketing to auction families, you have to send out a piece of material every single week, okay? So these are initial leads. And then every single week, you would be pulling these ones, the new ones, okay? So it may be confusing. And I try to make this training about an hour, but we'll talk a little bit later about more step by step. Okay, so the first thing is the leads. So we looked at the leads. You guys all have plenty of auction leads. I would highly, highly recommend diving right into the auction, okay? Again, it has been my #2 lead source since 2007, okay? Then what are you going to do with those leads? Well, you have to send a letter. Like I said, it should be sent every single week. So the key here is consistency, right? So my team pulls this data every single Wednesday. So it was pulled yesterday. Then my team will review all of it, make sure it's not listed on the MLS. She still looks every single week, encouraging you to do the same thing. And then we start preparing our marketing. And we'll talk more about, if you want our highly effective marketing, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But what do we send? We have a flow chart. Now, this flow chart is, do you want to keep the property? They're probably going to say yes. It will take them through a chart of, if they want to keep it, here's the options. If you have income, if you don't have income, here's the options. It is so valuable for these homeowners because they are confused. They're searching on the internet. They're getting bad advice from attorneys. They're getting bad advice from realtors. So this flow chart, like I said, it is something that is not being sent by anyone unless they're inside of our community. So that flow chart goes with either a postcard or we have 2 different letters. There's an auction date lead letter, which is more short sale based, or we have an auction date lead letter that's more equity based. You can choose. And then they get sent out. So it's got to be once a month. I'm sorry, once a week. So if you're taking notes, make sure you write down once a week. Okay. And then, so for step 1, auctions, got to do the auctions 100%. Okay. And it's very easy to implement. It really, really is. Other options and plus consistency. Like I said, I talk a lot about consistency. I have been sending, so I don't, unfortunately, the flow chart is a part of the coaching community, but I will talk about that in a little bit. I don't just hand it out because it's been so effective for us. And as a group inside of the community, we collaborated together to come up with that. But you got to send this out once a week. I've been doing this every single week. Now I do give my team a little bit of time off, like around Christmas or New Year's, or sometimes throughout the year, depending on when holidays fall. But every single year for 14 years, okay? But those first few years, I did a lot of trial and error. I don't want you to have to do that. Time, like I said, is our most valuable asset. There's other resources too. So if like you're sending this out, you could potentially drop off another resource like a book. If you were on our session last week, we talked about those resources in the books. The Ultimate Guide to Selling Your Home is a short sale. The Ideas to Avoid Foreclosure. So those are the options they have available. If they're in a bankruptcy, then there's a bankruptcy book on selling, during or after bankruptcy. Okay, so there's other resources too, but the main thing here is to get these leads, pull them the same day every single week, prep the data, and send out that marketing piece. So we pull the data on Wednesday and we send everything out on Friday, okay? Then I tend to start to get calls at the beginning of that following week. That is for auction date, okay? All right, step 2, my number 1 lead source. So I started with my number 2, which was auction. My number 1 lead source is bankruptcy, okay? If you want to get into this niche, you gotta implement bankruptcy. And I know it may be a little scary, but that is okay. You gotta lean on me, you gotta lean on our community, okay? So, same thing. We use Property Radar for all of our bankruptcy leads. So this is fairly new. I am going to go back to, we'll go to Fulton County. So this is how you would pull the bankruptcy. So you're going to have 2 separate lists. You're going to have a list for your auction date leads, and you're going to have a list for your bankruptcy. We just had a training with Property Radar on Tuesday, and that is inside of our coaching community, which I'll show you in a little bit.
Where did you click for bankruptcy?
I'm sorry, what?
Where did you click for bankruptcy?
Oh, I haven't shown you yet.
Oh.
Okay, so county, Fulton County, and then we are going to go to owner details, bankruptcy. And we, now I do teach to pull 2 separate lists. We pull dismissed and we pull open, and there's reasons for that. We don't have time today to get into those specific reasons, but we'll do open, okay? Add criteria, but this will just give you a general idea on bankruptcy. So we always want 7 and 13. That's going to apply to homeowners. And then we're going to go back to recording date. So we usually go a year out. Okay, so 246 families. This is actually, that's crazy. Okay, so we're going to make this list. I'm on BK data. We're going to create it. So it's all very similar to the auction date that we created, okay? And then we are just going to take a look. So let me explain the data to you. So this person, you know that they're in bankruptcy because they have this pig right here, this red pig, okay? So it's going to show you who is in bankruptcy under the contacts. So Nancy is not in bankruptcy, but Michael is, okay? So if you scroll down even further, it's going to show the bankruptcy cases. So they're in a chapter 13, and it was filed December, or was recorded December 19th. So this is the type of data we want. We want to know who's in a 13 and we want to know who is in a 7. And we do have marketing pieces for those families. A 7 is different than a 13, okay? But the other great thing is when you click on this, you're able to find that bankruptcy attorney info. This is huge, okay? And I'll tell you why in a few minutes. But this is the type of data that you're going to want to pull. You want to know who is in a 7 in your area and who's in a 13 and who the bankruptcy attorney is. Are there other realtors doing this? Probably not. Bankruptcy can be a little complicated. I'm not a bankruptcy attorney, but I know how all of it works when it comes to a 7 and a 13. So it's really awesome. Okay, so that's how, you're going to set this up. Again, this would be the initial leads, okay? That number right here is initial leads. And then every single week, you're going to keep an eye on that because our Google spreadsheet is going to help you input the data for a 7, input the data for a 13, and most importantly, keep track of all of these attorneys, okay? And then we have the direct mail, and we have that book that I recently talked about. So we have a postcard and a letter, okay? But, excuse me, we want to help these homeowners understand how to sell during and after a 7 and a 13. It is very, very different, okay? See it, sir? Oh, no problem, Sarah. If you would like the replay, I'm going to give you my email. There's the email if anyone wants to reach out. Okay, so I would try to reach out to these. So 7 is going to be kind of like an auction where these people probably need to do something a lot quicker. A 13 is a payment plan. And so as long as they're making the payments, the foreclosure process is halted. But if the Chapter 13 gets dismissed, then they're going to start, meaning the bank, is going to start where they left off. Okay. The book is a valuable resource for these homeowners, okay? The ultimate guide to selling your home during or after bankruptcy. Okay, so chapter 7, selling during. You can't. After, how to sell. And then how to sell during and after a 13, which you can do for both. That book is not only a valuable resource for homeowners that are in a 7 or 13, who else would it be valuable for? These attorneys. So most bankruptcy attorneys, let's talk about those now. If you want long-term business, you got to reach out to these attorneys. And we have the resources to make building those relationships a lot easier, okay? All of my bankruptcy mostly has come from these attorneys by finding all of them here. Okay, exactly how I'm telling you. And so a lot of them, you know, they haven't closed real estate deals. We want to target small to medium-sized firms, not a huge firm. They don't care. The small to medium-sized firms are going to have the same mindset as you and really want to help. So it could, by adding you as a partner, it's going to add value to their firm. It's going to potentially add revenue to their firm too. So give those resources out. You probably know more than the bankruptcy attorney. And if you don't, we have loads of resources that you can watch as far as building those attorney relationships. They are really key. That is my #1 lead source. And I don't even have a ton of attorneys. I probably have about 6 that give me leads on a consistent basis. And then another 6 that are a couple times a year, right? They don't do as many bankruptcies. Okay. And then the consistency is another thing. All right. If these places are local, you could print the book, print it at your home office. You don't have to like get them printed, you know, or, you know, you can make it as a QR code, drop that off. The more education you're giving these homeowners, the better. And then the bankruptcy attorneys, you can go to their office, you can drop this info off, try to get a coffee and, you know, set up a coffee and donuts, or you could actually go to the bar associations. So hold that thought because that may be something that we're going to talk about next week. I'm going to give you a sneak peek. Okay, so again, #1 is the auction date leads. This is all I do. I do not do anything else. I send a weekly letter or postcard with the flow chart every single week to auction families. And then I continue to have those relationships with bankruptcy attorneys and analyze the data and hear and either send out a letter or a postcard, or I'll go and drop off a book, or I would connect with their attorney. Okay. So I have a whole list, about 12 new attorneys that I'm now trying to connect with. Okay. Plus I'm hosting 2 upcoming bankruptcy events through bar associations. And I'll talk more about that next week. All right. So that's step 2. Step 3, if this is all like, holy crap, this is a lot. It's not, but you have to have the right people, right professionals around you. I would say that a majority of managing brokers would say, don't take on these types of deals. I wish they wouldn't say that. It is very rewarding. You not only can make a positive impact in your community, you can make a lot of money. You can. Okay. So step 3 is I'm encouraging you to join the coaching community. Okay. You really deserve to be supported in your journey. Okay. You can ask questions and you can really collaborate with the best. My managing broker sends all of the questions my way. It's really kind of funny. All right. So let me show you our our group here. So here's our group. This is where we collaborate. And so lots of postings going on. We're talking a lot about reverse mortgages. Someone was asking about, this is where you ask questions, okay? This is the bankruptcy training that we had on Tuesday, and then we had an after session from that. So we do weekly announcements. So there's a lot that goes on. We have special trainings, we have check-ins. You can get discounts to the courses. I tell you when we're not going live. We have about 3 years worth of information in here, 3 years worth of trainings, 3 years worth of content. And all of the stuff, all the past trainings, everything is right here. Okay. You get all the authorizations, you get all the short sale packets, the listing documentation. This group is how we figured out how to create that flow chart for these families that are in denial. Okay. This is where you want to be if you want to take on distressed sales. Okay. So lots and lots of stuff going on here. I'm really big on communication. So every single week, you get an email with weekly announcements and stuff that's going on. 1 week from today, we're doing a training in Property Radar specific to just all the auction stuff. So I would recommend getting the auction date going. I would recommend doing the bankruptcy, and then I would recommend joining the community. Okay. All right, so let's take a sneak peek. I already showed you, so we'll move to this slide. I already showed you the sneak peek of blueprint of the coaching community. It's all right here. So if you want to show me something if you want me to show you something specifically, I can. If you go to the guide section, it has all the onboarding stuff, all fall sessions, summer sessions, special events. We had my rental agent come on last year and talk about how to find rentals. My tax team came on. My bankruptcy attorney will be coming on sometime this year. We're working on that. I'm meeting him on Monday. So that is a sneak peek of the community. Now, no, it's not free. It's $20 a month. So, yep, it's $20 a month to take advantage of the support. That's really like nothing compared to what you're like getting, but it's $20 a month. There's no commitments. So if you decide you don't like us, you can leave. But it is $20 a month to just come into this community here. And I'll post that. So $20 a month. So if your managing broker can't answer a question, or maybe you have an IRS tax lien, guess what? We know how to release those. Or you have an FHA short sale and you don't know how to work through it. We have seen everything. There are people in the community that have closed just as many short sales as me. We are all there to help you. Okay. All right. So I have 2 options. If you're looking to take on both, or if you're looking to just do one to get started, we have 2 courses. Okay. And when I say kindergarten, I mean it. These are super, super easy. They are not confusing. It's not just, hey, go and do this. It is literally step by step of everything I do on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis to where I've gotten today. Okay. So I'm just going to show you a quick sneak peek of these. Here's the auction. Now just ignore that price. I have a discount for you guys actually. So here's the auction. So what does that include? Well, we're going to show you how to set up your account. We're going to show you how to set up your auction date lead list, how to download those leads, how to organize it on a weekly basis. We have our ADL postcard. All of this is easily editable in Canva. We have our QR code script, the exact words that I'm using. Everything is exact. The great thing about this is I'm still doing everything the same, just like you guys. We have the letter, and then we also have a bonus letter, which is the equity letter. So they are front and back. We show you how to edit them. We give you all of the supplies that I have used. We give you discounts at my printing company. You don't have to use the local printing company here if you don't want to. How to organize your daily property alerts, the polls, analyzing the CSV file. Okay, how to prep everything. And then we do have an optional text campaign. So we show you how to do that. And then you start to get calls. What the heck do you do? How do you help them? Posting in the community. Hey, I had this scenario. How do I help this family? Everyone's going to start commenting. Okay. This is not a typical community. We all want to help. Okay. How do you help them if they want to keep the property, sell the property, all the tips to postponing that auction date, pre-listing, listing. So each one of these has at least one video, okay? The actual short sale offer, short sale packet, communication, the BPO and appraisal, short sale approval letter, and then closing the deal. What do you have to do, okay? Included in this is that flow chart, okay? So no matter which course you want to get, the flow chart is in the confirmation email. The flow chart will give you all the verbiage you need for the videos. If you want to create videos, we also have a one-page document to explain the options to them. Deed in lieu, selling, chapter 13. I already wrote all those for you. So you just have to change my information to yours and create the flow chart. It's actually very, very easy. It walks you through step-by-step everything. If you have a question, where are you going to go? You're going to come here. Okay. So that is the auction, okay? And then the bankruptcy is similar, except it's killing two birds with one stone. So what does that mean? Well, we want to make sure you get this right, okay? So explaining chapter 7, explaining chapter 13, how to set up those lists inside of Property Radar. And then we're going to introduce you to the postcard. We're going to introduce you to the letter. Do I use these? Yes. But the books are so valuable. So I wrote this book. You have access to it as if you wrote it. It is available in Canva. If you don't like Canva, I don't love Canva. If you don't like Canva, you can have my design coordinator edit it for you, okay? So let me show you that. So here is, so you can find him, or you can click here and you can use the Canva logo. So you'll be able to edit all of this. It's about 30 pages. So like I said, I would highly recommend just printing it at your home office. Yes, the recording will be available. If you send me an email though, info@blueprintshortsales.com, my team can get it to you a lot quicker. My youngest is actually home today. He has strep, flu A, and an ear infection. So we're a little bit behind here. So if you email me, I can get it to you sooner. Okay. Happy to connect you with someone as well. Every single person in the community loves how easy this is step by step. And then of course, going through literally everything, organization, the optional prep or the text campaign, prepping for that, how to find those attorneys, how to get organized with them, okay, other resources for them, really the right way to build those relationships. They will be impressed with you, okay? Calls, assisting the client with a game plan, tips for postponing that auction, same thing, pre-listing, all that. It's all here. So when I say step by step, okay? Lots of information, but you'll love it, okay? All right. So that's a sneak peek of both the auction as well as the bankruptcy. So let's talk about discounts. We have 20% off. And I do limit that because I get a lot of people that register for these events. And, I'm going to be limiting now the amount of people that can register because everyone just wants to watch the replay. But I like to give the discounts live, okay? Because you can get your questions answered, all of that. So we are limiting the quantity. And so there is a 20% discount. It is AD 2025. So if you go to this link and you put in AD 2025 here, it is going to give you that discount. And then it would give you immediate access to this auction date lead generation blueprint. Okay. And then same thing for the bankruptcy. It's also going to be 20%. So a lot of people say like, really $557 for all of that? Yes, it's all those letters. It is, the bankruptcy book. It is all of the things that we have created, the Google spreadsheet, What do you do for pre-listing? Everything is there. I do not leave anything out. I know a lot of times people are like, oh yeah, come into my community and I'm just gonna, vaguely show you how to do it. Nope, not like that here. And why is that? It's like that because if I can teach you how to be the Heather Keller in your area, then that is helping another homeowner. And that's really all that matters. Okay, and then here's the bankruptcy one. Okay. And then again, the blueprint, so if you decide you don't want any of the courses, you want to just come into this, great. Right now, every single Tuesday though, we are going through this bankruptcy course, okay? So we are slowly going through every single lesson. So last week we started, so you're not that far behind. And then this week we had that training with Property Radar. So I'm encouraging you to do both of those courses as well as joining the community. If you don't like us, which I'm pretty sure you will like us, you can cancel at any time. But it is $20 per month, no long-term commitments. And that is where you're going to be able to get any of your questions answered. Okay. And then again, here's the bonus gift. So whatever course you decide to get, that flow chart will be available. So this is kind of like a sneak peek of what it looks like. And that will be available with instructions inside of the confirmation email after the course is purchased. So like I said, every single Tuesday right now in the community, we are going live if you have access to that bankruptcy, and we are taking Tuesdays is all about bankruptcy and getting that up and running. And so we're going through each lesson, okay? And then we'll have special trainings and check-ins throughout the rest of, that session. Okay, I would love to answer any questions, and just know that right now we're not accepting any new members in Chicagoland.
I had a quick question. I feel stupid asking it, but what is the difference between auction day and then like bankruptcy? Like what's the difference between those two?
Okay, so auction date, so auction date is my number 2 lead source. And so auction date means they're at the very end of the foreclosure process, okay? So they have a sheriff's sale or auction scheduled already on their property, okay? So when you're sending out these mailings to those families, there are still options to get that date postponed. And one of those options could potentially be bankruptcy. So that is how you can also give business to these bankruptcy attorneys, okay? Not everyone who has an auction can file for bankruptcy though, okay? Now bankruptcy, a lot of people file at the very last minute to temporarily stop that date. Or they're in denial and they want to try to keep the property and they file 13. Well, that's a good person to keep in contact with because more than likely their payment is going to be a lot higher than what their original payment was because they're trying to make up for all of the back owed payments. Okay, Hillary? And so if that case gets dismissed, you want to jump in right there and help them because if it gets dismissed, the bank is going to set another date right away. So there's two, they go hand in hand. You can let those bankruptcy attorneys know, hey, I send out a really highly effective marketing piece. I would love to be able to give you business from it. So they go hand in hand, but they are two different lead sources. You have a question based off of what I just said?
No, that helps like differentiate between the two. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? I don't like, no question is silly or stupid. I would like to answer them. No other questions? Okay. So like I said, if you want to get the recording and all of this sooner, you can certainly send me an email. Otherwise, we do post it in the free group and we do send out emails with the replay. I'll stay on just for a few minutes in case there's other questions or something else you would like to see.
I had a quick question. When you start, I went to a different training you had, not about any of this. So it was about like time blocking, but you had mentioned, I think in that one, did you move to Chicago to start this? Like,
Oh, okay. Hold that thought. I forgot to tell you. I'm going to give you a sneak peek of next week's if you guys want to schedule. Like these are free trainings. I don't necessarily think like free, it's still valuable, but you can schedule here. Next week is going to be basically long-term attorney relationships. So anyways, okay, I'm not sure who asked that question, but I moved to Chicago and started a career in mortgages, and then the mortgage industry tanked. And that's when my husband and I kept hearing the term short sales. So we started a whole business around short sales. So when I first started, I wasn't licensed, and then I got licensed very quickly because the banks then required you to have these properties listed. So back then, like I had no idea what I was doing. Like I had to teach everything myself. My managing broker didn't know. And so we just grew together. Now he does his thing and I do mine. And here we are. All right. Anything else while you have me here? I do. If you didn't join the free group, I would join the free group because I do post about it there. Yeah, I would join the free group. There's, there's weekly trainings since August of 2023 that are in there. It's under the guide section. So you could go through theirs. But like I said, the quickest way to get to where you want to be is really just take that chance and come in and join us. I promise you'll be happy as long as you're implementing this every day and being consistent with the marketing and stuff. I usually show my income. I must have not. Oh, you know what? Let me just show you I missed this slide. So this is actually my real income for the last 5 years. So the reason why it's so big here is because I had a $1.6 million deal that I was both sides and they paid dual commission and did not cut it. So I made 6%. So the month of August of 2020, I made like 150,000 alone with everything that closed. So you absolutely can still do this whether you have your current business or you want to just fully take this on, but you have to be consistent. And that is sending out the auction date once a week, communicating with these families in a 7 and 13 and maintaining those attorney relationships. And then I do believe being a part of the coaching community is really going to be beneficial for you to get your questions answered, but also see what other people are asking and you can learn from that. So sorry.
I had a quick question. Is the goal to list the properties then?
Yeah, the goal is to help them avoid foreclosure. And so the only way to avoid foreclosure is to sell. So they either can sell with the equity if they do have equity. If we determine there is no equity, then they can sell as a short sale. And that would properly get their name off of title and allow them to move on to the next chapter of their lives. Great questions. Any others? All righty. Well, thanks for joining. Hope to see some of you next week or maybe even sooner in the coaching community. Like I said, feel free to reach out to me.
I have one question.
Okay.
How much is your weekly budget or monthly budget to advertise yourself and sending the mailers out and stuff like that? Like everything you do, how much is the budget for it? Because obviously the money you showed here, you have to subtract out of the budget you are throwing towards the other marketing things.
Yeah. So I used to give myself a budget. I don't give myself a budget anymore. But I'm sending out 150 mailings. So I don't even know what stamps are anymore because my team handles all that. I think they're what, 72?
I don't know. I have a marketing team who does all the stuff for me. So I'm
Yeah.
just trying to
So
be
let's
ready
just
from there.
say let's just say it's 72. I don't remember. So that's $108 a week for stamps. I do buy the postcards and everything in bulk. Okay. So my printing company does give a pretty good discounts. So what I would do is I would do your best to figure out how much you can spend a week. And then at the end of the year, you're going to analyze and you'll have that data. So always at the end of the year, we do a special training called planning for the new year. And so we'll help you analyze everything from this previous year. So I know how much exactly what I spent. And then I can move forward and say, okay, well, my marketing is probably going to increase a little bit. So I'm going to give myself this budget. So right now I'm spending around, let's just say $400 to $450 a month on stamps. Okay. If we're sending around 150. So some weeks we don't send that much, right? But I do the letters I buy in bulk, and I usually buy about 2,500 at a time, and it's about $240. So $240. So if you're asking like how much I spend on marketing versus this, it's really not much. I probably spend less than 10,000 a year.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other thing that I do, I mean, I take my attorneys to lunch. I do try to do that. And then I do sponsor some bankruptcy events. And so I have 2 coming up, and those are $200 each. But those events, I can explain who I am, introduce myself, and then I can communicate with these attorneys afterwards because I get all of their information. They get my flyer, which you guys have access to in the group. We just posted about that actually.
So what I'm understanding based on what you are telling is you do basically organic marketing, right? You don't do most like social media marketing, like which is the new trend. You do more organically, send the mailers out, reminders, consistency, and that's how you get your business. Am I understanding it right?
Yeah, I don't do it. I mean, I do, people who know me know that I'm the short sale person in my area. So I don't post a lot on social media. I think when someone's facing foreclosure, it's hard. They're going through a lot. They're probably not going to post about it on social media. So I keep it old school. It's very simple. It works. And then as you start to get more and more clients, so like my number 1 lead source is bankruptcy. My number 2 is auction. And then the third is probably a combination of social media and past client referrals. So every time we close a deal or take on a deal, I mean, people know about it. And so I post about it and they'll comment and stuff.
Do you, apart from your Facebook private group, do you have any Instagram social media page?
I pretty much just use Facebook. I mean, my whole goal here, especially with being, a mom, I don't want to like overextend myself. And because I've had such success with these 2 things,
Understood.
I just run with it. Now you could absolutely add more, but I don't do anything else.
Understood. Well, thank you for your time, and I
You're
truly
welcome.
appreciate it.
Okay, well, I hope everyone has a blessed afternoon. Thank you for joining me. And is that Lisa? So weird. It says me, but she keeps saying it's her. You're welcome. Have a blessed day. Bye.